So, welcome to Kingdom Talks. I'm glad to be here. Berlin is co-hosting with me, and we have as our guest Karen Britt, and we're excited about what God has tonight.
Okay, thank you so much, Adina. Thank you for having me as a co-host. I'm so excited for Karen tonight. She is our wingman, and she finally gets to be on camera instead of behind the scenes. So we're excited to hear her story and have a good chat. And it looks like it's all girls tonight since we're without Gil. We're Gil-less tonight. So we appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for sharing. Please share this out to your friends. Invite. We are live right now on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. So share us, like us, subscribe, do all of that good stuff, and we will get going as soon as we do that. I'm going to share one just to my page if I can get that to happen. So let's just see here. Arising is the Facebook page. Or group, excuse me, that we're going live in. And I am refreshing my screen here. Hopefully I have enough bandwidth. As you can see, I'm in a new location tonight. Not at my studio. Okay, are we live?
I believe we're
How are you guys?
Doing awesome.
Are you guys able to share it? You're good?
We're good.
All right then. Okay, so Karen, I am looking forward to getting to know you a bit better. I've chatted with you a few times, but I really don't know your story. So tell us how you came out of the churchianity and into the kingdom age and doing everything that you do now, and tell us about your band and what's your story?
My story is I consider myself unchurched, although I did go to like Sunday school, did the normal, kid thing. You go to Sunday school, but I didn't go to church throughout my whole life. So for me, like where people are trying to undo and rewire their thinking, I'm like wide open and not have to do too much of that.
That's a good thing. Some of us have years.
If I were being churchy right now, I would say, "Oh, praise the Lord."
I hear you.
Amen, sister.
So for me, I haven't had to go through a whole lot of all that, rewiring process, and so I get more open. I do discern, though. It's not like that, So for me, and then I started going back. I got saved a few years ago. My best friend, and she snuck it in on me.
Oh, we want to hear that story.
Yeah. So she did, and I started going to church with her, and then it snowballed, and here I am today. I started out really singing. I got a word from Gary Brooks one time that says, "You have a revelation inside of you, and you're going to sing."
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And so from there, someone recruited me on their team and started me out, and then I've gone to the Elastic Army Band now. I write my own music. Never thought I was going to do that. And we've been together 4 years, and we do all kinds of sound. And a lot of people ask us to do covers. We're not called to do that, and we refuse to compromise on that.
So do you do primarily Christian or kingdom or believer type music, or just positive music in general?
We do more of what's going on right now, ascending kingdom, that kind of realm. It can be somewhere rocky, some soft. It's different sound. Whatever's on our heart, we do it. We're not trying to stick with a certain style.
Wow. Okay, so tell us about the name Elastic Army Band.
The Elastic Army Band, it started, I read an article that Millie Bennett did, and she was talking about the Elastic Army and being stretched.
Yes, we're all being stretched.
And so I said, I want to use that name, the Elastic Army, because we're willing to be stretched no matter what it takes. So
That's really good.
Constantly being stretched, but it's a good thing.
So just to back up a second, you got saved and into the kingdom, ascension type stuff, just
pretty quickly, because we started. I started right into Todd Bentley. I went to the Lakeland, Florida thing for Memorial Weekend, and I mean we drove right. I was in it right at that time and just went right into it.
Wow. That's a huge, well, I guess it's a huge step to me, but how did that feel to you, going from not even understanding, that there is a way to path to the Father or Jesus or anything like that?
Well, before I went, I spent like 6 months and I read, I don't know how many books. I mean, I just went ding, 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 right through them. And I had an experience where the Lord showed me that I was swallowing a sword, and I knew exactly what that meant. And about that time, all those books came, and I just read from beginner to the Spirit, baptized in the Spirit, all of that.
Like what books? What are the names of the books for our viewers?
Well, the first book I ever started with was Mary Kay Baxter's Hell book.
Okay. Wow.
The Revelation of Hell. That's what I started out with. I mean, I'm telling you, I just went right into it wide open.
Wow.
Oh
my gosh. So what are some of the other books?
Shoot. I read all of oh shoot. See, you asked me, and then
I'm sorry. Put you on the spot.
I read all of Bill Johnson books.
Okay, from Bethel, yeah.
And it was another guy's last name is Fife. It was like 3 books where he was experiencing, heaven and stuff like that, where he was, taken in and God was showing him some stuff. All kinds of books like that. I mean,
wow.
Just got 2 rooms.
Wow, that's just amazing. And you just jumped right in, huh?
Right in and absorbed it all, just like a sponge.
Now, had you been kind of sensitive to the Spirit, even before that, where you saw things, or did that just open up after you gave your heart to the Lord?
I knew something was going on. I just didn't know what it was, and then they say to you, like Todd Bentley and them would say, you've been doing it all this time, you just don't know that you're doing it. Somebody points it out to you, and explains to you, things like deja vu and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You think, I've been there before. I've seen this before, so that's why, I said, okay.
Wow. Okay, so how did you find out about Kingdom Talks? How did you hear about us?
I was, somebody else was connected. You know how it all laces together. And I go, oh, let me watch the show. And I was watching you guys' recordings, and I just got it through somebody, maybe Terry Spencer's or something like that. Somebody had posted it.
Oh, wow. Very cool. And then Gil put out a call that we need help with our social media, and suddenly Karen says yes, and...
See, I told you.
I know, right?
So I'm like, well, okay, I'll see what it is. It's weird who answers Facebook stuff, And so I just reached out and said, what are you looking for,
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Well, I know that we sure appreciate you putting together all of the graphics for all of the guests.
Yeah.
And you put out posts in advance, like promo posts, and then the day of, and you're behind the scenes during the shows, and Karen is the girl. If you've seen anything, it's usually Karen. She's sharing it out to everybody, putting it on all of the groups who will let us put it on, and all of that stuff. So You know, and that's actually a call to action that we could ask our viewers. If you know of any groups who would be interested in what we do and talk about on Kingdom Talks, just let us know. Please put it in the chat of wherever you're watching so that we can connect with those organizers and get the word out. Because we're all about, you know, awakening and sharing the revelation of what God is doing in this new age. And usually, you know, we're talking to transitionaries, and of course, Karen is not only just being a transitionary herself, but she's facilitating us getting this word out to transitionaries. So we so appreciate her. Yeah. So, Dina, you kind of have been behind the scenes as well. Do you have any questions for Karen as a behind the scenes person? With Gil and I up here talking all the time, and you guys working in the background.
Oh, well, I love your story. It's so interesting. You know, everybody has a unique journey as, you know, as they're moving along, and so it's fun to see how different people approach it, how they come into it. You know, for some people it's a fairly natural flow, and other people it's a little bit of a bumpy ride. But it sounds like for you it was pretty, you know, keep stretching, keep stretching.
Yeah. And I just didn't have to deal with the, you know, the religious spirit part of it, you know, and I never said no or, man, you know, and if I didn't get it, I believe, like Gil says, just put it back here. Yeah. And you'll come first full circle around it one day. You know, I never disregard anything. Yeah. You know?
So as you were making your transition, you know, where at whatever point, how did your friends, family, you know, take it? They think you're getting weird into a cult. Sometimes we get that.
Yeah, right.
I've heard that. Yeah. I just ignore it and keep on going. You know, what can you do? You just do it. Yeah. I don't waver too much on people, what they say, you know, because you could get in that people pleasing mode, and that's not where I want to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good. Okay, so you said that you write your own music for your Elastic Army band, and you are doing more kingdom kind of ascension stuff. So tell us about like either a recent or a favorite song and how it came to be, and tell us all about it.
One of the songs, a lot of times, like Eyes on Him, I mean, we'll just be playing flow, you know, and then just check in, and then the words start flowing right out. I'll record it so when I go back and write it, it makes sense.
That's awesome.
Or sometimes, like, I'll read my song, okay, just read it, and the band, they pick up on it and feel what's coming out of the words, and they come up with the music arrangement part of it.
Wow.
Within 15 or 20 minutes, we've got a song going.
That's amazing.
And then, you know, we tighten it up, you know, keep playing it and just tighten it on up. And I mean, it hadn't been very hard, you know, because I write what's on our heart. I hear their story, I pick up little nuggets from them and put it together too.
So was music always a part of your life, or?
Oh, yeah, I love disco, and I was always in the club. So that sounds funny, but I mean, I always liked it, even when I was a little, you know, kid. I mean, I listened to records in my room and stuff like that all the time, you know.
What's a record?
What's that?
Right? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So, do you play instruments as well? You must if you write, right?
No.
You just sing. Okay, so you write the lyrics, and then your musicians kind of put the words or the music behind it. And how many?
Or either they already have a song on them, and I already have the music over here, and we make it work. You know, we just flow.
That's amazing. Do you know how many bands would love to be able to, instead of having it be a struggle? Wow.
I mean, it is pretty amazing. Sometimes I go, wow, that was 15 minutes, you know. That's wild.
Because a lot of people go to classes to learn how to write songs and, you know, take years to develop that. And so it's often awesome, you know, the Holy Spirit just in the moment downloading.
And when we write, I mean, I'm just writing just like a song would be. I mean, we're not writing note sheets. You know, they're just playing it. They know their chords. And they just play, and we just fit it in.
Wow.
Wow.
So did you have any formal music training, or has it just always been from your heart?
No. Sounds pretty unbelievable hearing it. So no formal training.
That's
wow.
awesome.
Wow. So of all of the crazy things that are going on with all of the new revelations and the guests that we've had on the show and the topics we've discussed, what kind of resonates with you? Like, what is God talking to you about, or, you know, what are you kind of wired for?
Well, you know, we had Kira on the show, it was last week or whatever, and I'm gonna tell you, and she just wrote something, and she's really, I mean, I'm in the music realm too, and we see a lot of everything's managed, everything's got to be this way, the words have got to be up on a screen, you know, everybody's got to know the music, because we need to know the music so we can sing. And, you know, I always say, there's a song in everybody, you know. It could be a spiritual song. If you don't know my music, that's fine. Just go with the flow, because you got a song that you can bring to the altar. You know, we don't look at ourselves sitting on a platform going, watch us, just go with us. You bring your own song to the altar with us. We're just participating with you. You know, we're not trying to worship. We want you encounter worship with us.
That's so good.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's really good.
So, I mean, you know, a lot of times when we go places, we see people and they're, you know, like that, and we want them to loosen up and engage with us, because we're not there for entertainment. We're really there. It's a vertical thing with us.
Definitely.
So, where do you typically play?
Well, we don't play in churches.
Kind of got that.
Sometimes we don't fit there, but we play in like coffee houses, Christian coffee houses, that are geared toward all kinds of music. Like every weekend they have a different musician, a different style of music come in, and they're just wide open to that. I like it. You know, I think it's really neat. And you know, we'll go to Virginia Beach a lot, and we stay in this area. We've played in one place. It was Deep Passion here in Richmond. So they were promoting music and musicians, trying to get them lifted up and recording and things like that.
Wow.
And we played the, you know, the Awaken the Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Awesome.
Nice. Very cool. So how often do you get to play? I mean, are you out every week, or?
We're not every week, because we're trying to put together now where we're going to start doing something like this, but we're going to sing too and also talk about the kingdom.
Very cool.
I love that idea. That's a great idea.
So, I mean, it's like, if we don't have anywhere to play, we do have a place to play. We can go right online here and do it there, and people get their, you know, word and hear the music too.
Wow.
That's great.
I really think that online is I mean, just being part of the online is going to be a big thing. I think it's going to grow bigger.
Yeah, you know, there's something to be said for both sides of it, but we can definitely, you know, reach more people and reach people where they are, because sometimes people are in a place where they don't want to get out in public, and they don't want to, you know, go somewhere to be with the Lord there. So church or going somewhere doesn't always work for them. So I agree that there's huge place for online. But then from the other side of the coin, there's a huge connection piece that you can only get in person, right?
Yep.
I mean, we can kind of tell each other's energy, but we can't really, because we're not in the same room, and having a heart connection of that electromagnetic energy, of our frequencies and all of that stuff. So there's both, but I agree that online is huge, and it's getting bigger, and there's no way people like Joyce Meyer would be in 132 countries or whatever without the online platforms, and the availability of all of that. That's really, really cool. So
we would like to and I keep telling my crew, I go, we need to stop waiting on people to invite us to come. We need to create and promote our own venues.
Yeah,
that's really good. Yeah, just make a name for yourself and set yourself up as a hub, and a connector, kind of like we are, and people will resonate with that. Exactly, your peeps will find you.
That's right.
Exactly. So what other kingdom revelation kind of stuff interests you, or are you reading about these days or anything?
Hey, I read your article. I liked it.
Which one? Oh, the big shift?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, it was so on point. I was like, wow, she's got it down. I like it.
Thank you. And I'm not sassy at all, right?
No. But it's true. I mean, it was right on for me. I mean, I loved it. I think a lot of people think maybe we're beating them up. We're not beating you up, We're just saying, when we're going, we know there's more than that, and we want it, and we're going to get it somewhere,
Yeah. And you know what? How many times does God use tragedy or struggles in our life to wake us up, right? Mm-hmm. And so, would never want to cause a struggle or a tragedy. So the best way that I can jolt someone into awakeness is just wake up, people. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just get in the face a little bit, because otherwise it's just everything is all the same and status quo, and like that. So that's why I do that sometimes. Now, obviously you don't want to do that too much, but we do want to wake people up, and sometimes it does take a little jolt. Hey, do you remember Jolt soda? That just reminded me of that. Remember that extra caffeine? That's what we need in the kingdom. Some Jolt. Anyway, well, now they have Rockstar energy drinks and stuff let's pour an ad for you. Don't drink it. Don't drink it.
Now, aren't we supposed to be getting our power from another source?
Right. Our can of Jolt is Holy Ghost juice, right? Oh my gosh. So what else is going on in your life, Karen, that you want to share and chat about?
Well, I mean, let's go back to when I answered the call for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really different, I mean, who answers a Facebook, a thing like that. And then it's it's started out, and now it's, rolling into this big ball. And here we are having meetings, and we're talking about the future and things that we like to do. I mean, it was definitely a God thing, stepped right into it.
Good. So well, we're so glad that you could help. Go ahead, Adina. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, what other, when people are making that transition, they have church, and sometimes they're so enmeshed in that they don't know life beyond that. And so, obviously you have spiritual community with Kingdom Talks, you have spiritual community with your band. Do you have other types of spiritual community that you're able to get together with on a regular basis?
Well, yeah, I mean, I keep in touch with the community here that, that I've gone to some other churches. We have one here that's, in, cahoots with the Irish Ministries with Hattie Baker and them. Uh-huh. we were a part of that. I mean, I don't settle down in one. I mean, I just go to different ones. You know, we have Ruth Heflin's place,
Mm-hmm.
a little, you know, right down the road from me, maybe 45 minutes,
Uh-huh.
and we'll go there sometime.
Wow.
So I don't stick in one place. We got different places that we'll, you know, visit, and then, you know, I got a few girls that are going. We're all kind of stay connected and talk and stuff like that because I don't want to get too separated out.
Yeah.
'Cause you still got a accountability going on.
Yep, I agree. That's really good. Okay, here's a little behind the scenes stuff. So, who's your favorite guest on Kingdom Talks?
Oh my word, that's hard.
I know, right? Put you on the spot for that one.
Well, I mean, I like Ian Clayton. You know, I like him. I like Nancy Cohen. I mean, I like them all, really, because everybody has something different. You know, it's so everybody's got their little niche, and each one of them, you know, you can gain from each one of them.
It's good.
Yeah, that's really good.
A favorite.
Have you seen Ian Clayton in person?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that's a trip. I think you have, right?
Yeah.
So you-
Yep.
Did he shoot the water gun?
That was where it really all began for us. Was going to an Ian Clayton conference, and never was the same after that.
I bet.
Yeah, those of us at home, after they came back from the conference, we were like, what happened to these people?
Oh.
It was really good. Yep. So, actually, had you, Adina, had you seen Ian Clayton before or after Robert Henderson when he came into the courts of heaven?
Robert Henderson was first, and God's grace for us in that, because he was a little more mainstream, you know, and I think that kind of helped us begin that transition. But then I kept hearing people say, oh, you need to listen to Ian Clayton, or, you know, this or that. And so I started watching some YouTubes, and it was like, this is interesting. And, you know, that place where you don't really get everything that he's saying, but your heart,
or anything.
yeah, but the heart connects, and you go, there's something about this, you know, that, and so it was just kind of one of those. I was part of the core team for Awaken the Dawn to Washington, D.C., and I knew one of the couples that was supposed to go, John and Anna Mix, which I hope we'll have them on here soon.
You know, yes. Okay, here's a call out to John and Anna. You need to answer my emails.
So
Anyway, go ahead.
anyway, you know, they were in one of the group chats. They were saying, oh, we can't go to this event because we have this guest speaker from New Zealand. And there was something about it that I was like, I wonder if that's Ian. And so it really, so then I, went online and saw that it was indeed Ian. And, it was that, I don't know if I would have gone to a strange place without any connections, but because I knew I wanted to meet John and Anna, and that was a divine connection and an appointment, I said yes. And so here we are.
Yeah, that's really cool. And Karen, you'll like them too, because they're musicians, just phenomenal.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes, amazing.
John plays drums and Anna sings and plays guitar, and they're so anointed. It's just, they have a sound that is just the right frequency of heaven, and just amazing. So yeah, they were also doing, it wasn't called Awaken the Dawn when it was here though. What was it called? It was Tent America.
Yeah,
they're similar, right?
Yeah.
But they were heading up the Tent America here in Sacramento, and so we were doing that last summer.
You guys were asking me, about some things like Terry Spencer came here, and and he did a conference here on the courtrooms,
Yeah.
and we happened to be playing, okay, and so what happened at Terry always talks about this. So we're playing the song Fiery Stones, and he goes, play it again. And I go, okay. And then we were playing it again. We had the fire tunnel going on, and everybody's like, hey, you know, going on. And then it broke out, and then, you know, like the portal just opened up, and everybody got in a circle, you know. And Terry kind of laid back because he saw what was going on. He's like, uh-oh. And I mean, it got crazy. I mean, he always talks about this, you know.
Wow.
And I mean, it was just the song, and, you know, we just started up, and we go, and it just broke out like that. It was really cool. The women were weeping in the circle, and were, you know, to share. I mean, this thing went on, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes. And it was wild. I mean, it was a lot of fun, too. I mean, we had a great time with Terry.
Yeah, good. We've had him here in person, and we've had him on the show a couple times. We should probably get him back.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Get him back on the show again. Yeah, good.
I'd like to do some more stuff with him. I've told him, you know, I'd like to invite him here, you know, to do another conference.
And you're Richmond, Virginia, right? And where is he? I don't remember.
Well, I think he's in Nashville.
Yeah, he's in Tennessee.
Nashville, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very
I'm
good.
I'm like 2 hours from DC, 2 hours from Virginia. Everything's kind of close.
Yeah, I actually lived in Virginia for a short time during my teenage years. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. I was in North Carolina on the Blue Ridge Parkway, actually. So, yeah. Okay, so what is God talking to you about, like, in your ascension times? What is God showing you on your destiny scroll, or what adventures have you had with him?
Okay, so let's see, there's many.
Good.
Like one time, you know, I saw that like I went into a room, and it was like all marble and just columns, and, you know, like a lot of you know, pillows and things that were burgundy with, you know, trim on them, really fancy. And then there was like oil, and, you know, you just said put it on, you know. So I just put this on, and so from there, I mean, it was like, yeah, you know, like, what's going on? And then, so at that time, like, that was the time that, you know, about the sword, and the sword had my name on it, you know, and then, you know, she swallowed the sword. And that's the time when it was like everything was just came down in there, you know. And so what happened from there, it was like I was in a coliseum, and there was like children lined up that had a whole, you know, a lot of different things wrong with them. And he stood behind me and said, pray for each one of those kids, and I'm going to tell you what's wrong with them. And then as I did, they were getting healed.
Wow.
So, I mean, it was like you could see, I mean, you couldn't see the end of them. You know, they were just kept on. You just go, blah, 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 whatever he said, you know, and they would get healed.
So have you moved with the healing ministry, or was that just a revelation, or?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, I do that. I mean, I even, you know, took the classes, and, you know, did Randy Clark and did all those, and
yes, and
went through all that, and do minister that way.
Awesome.
I like, for me, like, if I do a word, I like to sing over people.
Yes.
To me, that's, you know, it's easier for me, you know, it's easier for me to flow into sing over people.
That's beautiful. Music is so healing, so powerful. The frequencies and all of that. So that's beautiful.
And when I first really started going to church, I was a flagger. I didn't think.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
That. And I started flagging, and I've made flags, and with silk and do all the dyeing and all of that, and started doing them. So I've been in a lot of the arts that way, in church doing that. And sometimes I still do them, I'll come out from behind the microphone and flags.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
and I like when we play, I just love when people do the flags. I like the artists. I always want somebody to come up and do art with us.
Yes. Definitely. It adds so much when you have all the, I always felt like, each piece was a part of the worship team. It wasn't, separated. We flow together. It's neat.
Yeah, that's really the prophetic art is so it's striking to me how their craft is so influenced by the prophetic, and I say this because sometimes when you're an artist and you're crafting a painting, you start with colors and shapes that have nothing to do with the end. It's like it just had to be there so far back underneath, you know what I mean? And then you paint, it's almost like you paint in reverse up to the top. So for having that to be prophetic, it's like such a mind warp for me. Like, how did you know that that's where God was going with that whole storyline in order to start with that? It's like, oh, it's just mesmerizing, and it's just so creative in how God speaks to us and works in so many different ways.
Yeah. But I think a lot, what you're saying, Berlin, is how God usually often just gives you a little piece of the puzzle, and then as you honor that, it opens up more. And I imagine it's similar with singing, with writing a song. Maybe it's just one image, but then as you press into that, then it grows. And, it's just the beauty. A lot of us, from our background, we'd like to have the whole picture, ahead of time. But it's the beauty of relationship that he just leads us, step by step in the journey and process. It's awesome.
Y'all asked me, like, what do I see? And I really feel like on my heart is, I know there's a lot of hidden ones. And I'll help them come out, because I just see a lot of people in their house, they're doing their thing, and whether it's music or, whatever they're doing, and they're probably stifled down in the church realm, and you can just see them.
Yes.
And I want like, if I have, like, I want an East Coast hub. I want to have a place where people that want to do this, what we're doing here, the topics, come, and then those hidden people that God wants to bring out, I have a heart to put them out there.
That's awesome.
Because I feel like I was like that. I mean, I'm hidden,
Yeah.
Still am, in a way. And so somebody's helped me to come out,
Yeah.
And I want to help them too, give them a platform.
That's awesome.
That's really good.
I think they have a lot of revelation we haven't heard yet.
So when you say you want to give them a platform, are you talking about musicians or artists?
Anybody.
General.
Anybody. Just whatever it is that they're doing. I like to help them come out, give them a place where they feel comfortable, that they've been held back somewhere, that they're not held back in our company.
It's good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really good. What else is God saying to you? Well, you said there were so many revelations. You told us that.
But I'm just saying, just things that I've seen, most of those things are me going through my process.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you more of a seer or more of a hearer, or? Perceiver? C?
C.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yep. It's like a
That's
movie.
really cool. So do you do group ascensions or encounters outside of your band? Did you say you had?
Yeah, in fact, I posted one on our page, okay, Robin Main. I do some stuff with her and want to do more with her. And I like her page because she does group ascensions. And I mean, I've heard so many people in that. They're like, oh my God, they're just crying. I just get shut down every time I go and I come here and y'all are like, yes.
What was her name again?
Robin Main.
Robin Main?
Yep.
I'll have to check that out. Thank you.
She'll come talk to you. She'll come on the show.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah, that's another thing too. We need to coordinate more people to get on Kingdom Talks. We want to be booked out, a few weeks in advance, and some of the bigger names that we're reaching out to have on the show are booking so far out. We need a bunch of other people in the meantime,
Yeah, hidden ones.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all good, Yeah.
So her and Belle Twig, I mean, she's another one that I like to listen to. I mean, they're very, very deep. I mean, really deep people.
Very cool.
So Robin does a lot of Melchizedek order, too.
Oh.
A lot about that.
Right. That's one of the things that I'm still kind of pulling off that shelf in the back and just kind of understanding. Here's the thing, though, because I got really turned off with New Age stuff about probably when I heard that maybe 20 years ago or something. Wayne Dyer was talking about how we were, coming from spirit and we decided to come into this earth existence and all of that stuff. And because I didn't have a grade for it, I kind of like, okay, that just sounds too woo-woo for me. Yeah, exactly. So, but now that I see the righteous real of it instead of that counterfeit, I can see where it totally makes sense, but I had just like shut it down for so long because in the presentation that I saw, there was a lot of other stuff that was not, the righteous real counterfeit. So anyway.
And to chew the meat, spit out the bones.
Yep.
Yeah, right. And aren't we doing that a lot more these days because there's so much coming at us? We have to be more discerning, and we have to, really know our foundations, which is so astounding to me that you didn't even have a foundation and yet you're moving in it. But you really have a firm grasp on, Jesus as your Lord and Savior and who Yeshua really is. And so that's just so cool.
Mm-hmm. The whole Melchizedek order is your identity and walking in that identity, as king and priest, sonship.
Yes.
And being able to function like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the first part of it is, of course, the character getting changed on the inside so you don't get blocked up. Get rid of all that stuff. So then you can, walk in that king, priest, sonship order.
Right. So did your other members of your band, were they already walking in this and invited you in, or are you kind of all growing together, or how did all that happen?
Well, I've been listening to Ian Clayton since, golly, he first started coming out. And somebody gave me a thumb drive with all of his stuff on it. So that was a blessing to me because I got 225 files of his.
Wow.
And so I'm listening and I'm like, and I've given, thumb drives away. I've turned my people on at the band. They're just starting now to getting into it. I mean, when people first hear it, they're like, oh, I don't know about all that. And I go, keep
Okay, so
listening.
your band wasn't necessarily walking in kingdom revelation, but they were Christian. Am
Yes.
I
Yes.
okay? I see.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. And you've been with them for 4 years. And just help me with the timeline. When did you make the decision to be saved and just jumped right in?
Okay, so probably about '06,
Oh,
saved.
okay. Okay. All right.
I mean, like as a kid, I went to church. I was going to Episcopal church, but I don't remember ever getting saved. And then sometimes, mom put you on the bus, you go to the Church of the Nazareth or something like that. So I don't remember anything like that. So that happened. So when I was telling my friend that, she goes, let's take care of that.
That's neat.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Uh-huh.
Wow. So were you in other bands then before the Elastic Army? Between the time that '06 and when you started with the Elastic Army, was that
just one other when I had gotten that word from Gary Brooks, a friend of mine who was a worship leader, she said, we're going to reel you in now. So she took me under her wing, and we were doing, she kind of threw me in there and said, we're going to do it, and I did. And so we played at church. She was, at that time, they were the only ones there, leading worship. So.
I see. Okay. All right. So you were in churches for a little minute before you decided that that's not where God is moving you guys. And moving you. Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. All right. Very good.
Yep.
Okay. So, Adina, I like when you're looking at worship leaders and things like that, and I know you've got upcoming conferences and you're, you have your Sunday night Kingdom Equipping Center and things like that. When you hear about worship leaders like Karen, how do you know that it's a good fit for whatever conference or event or whatever?
Our biggest thing is flow with the Spirit. And so, there's all kinds of talent out there that can sing, the latest worship songs. And, that's not for us where, our congregation is at, is, we want to enter into the heavenly realm. And, you can get there with the regular songs, but it's much easier when we're flowing with the Spirit and entering in together. And so, it's been a challenge for us to find worship leaders. We have some now, but some of it is just the nature of musicians that they're tend to move a lot, or and so it is challenging to find worship leaders who carry that frequency of heaven and get that it's not a performance, it's not about the latest worship songs, but it's that vertical connection, and that it's for everybody to engage. It's not a spectator sport. And again, not every worship leader knows how to draw everybody in, and so that's very helpful.
Well, it's kind of like Kiara said. She said there was like you got the gifting there, but you need the anointing that breaks the yoke.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah, that's good. So Karen, do you do either like 4/4/5/4 or other frequencies when you play, or what do you typically use?
432. We were doing 440, and we talked about changing it, and I went to 432.
I like 432.
Yeah. So everything we do is 432, and then like art music, some of it's fast paced, but everything is written with the idea of flowing into something else.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's open.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
that's nice.
And because sometimes when we play, even for like the Christian Coffee House, they're used to go song.
Yeah.
And I'm going, can we drift here?
Yep.
But everything that we do, right, I mean, we can fit in any, like, Adina's talking about. She wants somebody that flows vertical up and down,
Yeah.
So we always keep that open end there so we can flow.
That's really cool. Okay, so would you be comfortable explaining to our audience the difference between the 432, 444, and what normal music is in? Are you comfortable with that, describing that, or is that not something that's?
No, I can explain it.
Okay, go ahead.
442 is like what most music is played by, but the 432 has a frequency for healing. But you could go into different frequencies that do different things. I mean, I want to stay on the 432 for that healing because it's just not physical healing, it's heart healing.
Yeah.
And in the natural realm of those things, 432, it's easier on the voice because it's at a lower pitch. So your voice shifts down a little bit.
Yeah, I was doing some studying on it, and it was interesting because they said, that it's the frequency of the earth and of nature, and that when people just would spontaneously sing, most often it would be the 432 frequency, and so that makes sense that it would flow naturally with your body and how you're made. Very cool.
If you're singing 440, you're at a higher pitch, a little bit higher, and I was like, is it really that much difference? It is, because I've had to readjust because every song written is 440 and we switched to 432 and I had to adjust. And it does, it's more relaxing on your vocal.
Yeah. That's neat.
You can.
That's really good. So just to let people understand what that is. So the frequency is not necessarily the note. It's how would you explain it? Like if I'm singing a middle C, I could sing a middle C in different frequencies, right?
Yeah, you can, because the 432 is off the A. So I don't have music theory, but I do know that much of it anyway. So there's a lady that Karina Pataki knows that she does really different ones. She'll go up to in the fives, I think, and it shifts. That's really high. It's a really high pitch, but she's looking to shift that DNA when she's doing it.
Wow. And okay, so let me see if I can explain it to our peeps. So a note is, if you picture it like curved, there are places along the curve that you could sing it, but it's all the same note. And so that's what the frequency is, right? So you're either singing it on this low side, up in the middle, or up to the high side of that curve of that note.
Yeah, it's like a pitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very good.
Okay. All right. Very good. And one last question is, okay, so you're singing in a coffee shop. Just that's like, this seems like awkward unless everybody who goes there knows that it's a Christian thing, because you're sitting there, flowing in the spirit and talking about ascension, and somebody just wants to come in for coffee, which is actually lowers your frequency.
Yeah. So you just give them a hit of frankincense.
There we go.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, so you're in a hookah lounge with frankincense because it's a sacred oil. No, seriously though, how do people react? How do they respond to your style and your flowing with Holy Spirit when it's in a coffee shop where people can like come and go get their coffee and whatever?
when they say coffee shop, and they do have coffee, okay, but it's like at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night, everybody knows where the well is in Virginia Beach or the river, okay, and they come in and they're having like church, but there's coffee and there's food.
That sounds good. I like that.
Yeah, right? It's a Hebrew feast.
So, I mean, it's not like it is public. Anybody can come. Usually, the people that frequent there, they come there.
Yeah.
You know, they know certain people are coming, and they come in and come see them, or they want to see somebody new. You know, they just come in and they like on Sundays they might have a Bible study in there. So they're renting a space in like an office park or something like that, and doing it, having church in there. And they just call it a coffee house because I think what they want to say is we're comfortable here. This is a comfortable place to come and enjoy Christian music and engage, too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, now I understand.
It's not like Starbucks.
Well, yeah, it was like, okay, so we're walking into Pete's Coffee, and there's someone ascending over in the corner on the,
I think it's a great idea, actually.
Well, it is. I just think that, a little bit of warning to lessen the freak out would be probably in order. Could you imagine Ian Clayton's style teaching just in a coffee shop? Yeah. So I was traveling in the spirit, and I left my body, and I. Oh my goodness.
It might go over good.
Who knows?
Yeah, they'll be wondering what's in your coffee. I want one of those, please.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, that's really good. Well, Karen, we so appreciate your help.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah, and doing all of those graphics, because heaven knows I don't have time to do it, and neither does Gil. So we appreciate you putting that out there, helping us out with all of that.
Yeah.
And so how can people get a hold of you or get a hold of your Elastic Band music, or the Elastic Army music?
You can go hashtag the Elastic Army Band. I'll take you right to our page on Facebook.
All right. On Facebook.
YouTube. And on YouTube, the Elastic Army Band.
Okay.
I'll post some stuff later.
That'd be great.
All right, very good.
Because you weren't on your post today.
Yeah. Do you have your like any samples of your music on Spotify or anything like that on iTunes or?
Oh, not yet. I'd like to do that though, because we're in the midst of recording, so I would like to do that.
Yeah, that's really good. So just, I don't know, Karen, I think you do know this, but we are syndicated through Spreaker, through the Fringe Radio Network on Spreaker. We're syndicated on iTunes and iHeartRadio and Spotify and Castbox. So, it's like pick a platform and you'll find Kingdom Talks. So we appreciate you, Karen, and we appreciate our members. Thank you so much for joining us on Patreon. And if you just go to kingdomtalksmedia.com and click on the membership button, you can become a member there to support us in our mission financially. And we also have a pledge there. And Adina, are you going to play the outro for us, or should I just talk? Okay, all right.
I'm going to go ahead if we're ready for that.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So goodbye to our live listeners, and we'll see you on the other side for the members.
Thank you for listening to Kingdom Talks with Gil Hodges. You can find us on Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube, and on the Fringe Radio Network on Spreaker. Please subscribe and share with your friends. Find links to all media outlets, the 3 Plumb Lines Pledge, and become a member at kingdomtalksmedia.com. Thank you for your support. and thank you for keeping us in prayer. Until our next broadcast, God bless and Godspeed.
All right.